All right, man, season 7, episode 14. This is crazy. This is phenomenal right now. Man, round of applause. This is not a big deal. Can we drop more bombs? For sure. We're talking to a community leader, community activist, you know what I mean, artist on top of all that, and then some.
A lot of talent.
Man, we got the great, the legendary Taylor Hall in the building, man. Round of applause for Taylor. For sure. And Sam is here as well.
Shout out to Sam.
Shout out to Top View.
Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Top View.
He's always in the cut.
Always.
You know what I'm saying? Taylor, before we get started to the interview, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Tay.Mamba, on TikTok at Taymamba, on Twitter, Mamba Tay. All Taymamba, different variations.
Sure.
Website, thetaylorhall.com.
Indeed.
Okay.
Shout out to the website. It's elite.
Thank you.
I was there
thank
today. I was like, damn, it's nice.
Thank you.
For
Shout out to my team.
Made this.
Yeah. Need their contact. But nah, it was good.
Brendan Bar.
Indeed, man. Shout out Taylor Hall being here,
Sam,
man.
Sam.
From Indianapolis, Indiana, born and raised, but by the way of LA today. So, we appreciate you being in this space with us, man. We're so excited to have you. We start every single pregame podcast interview with the pregame podcast pop quiz. We're going to ask you a flurry of questions. You do your best to answer.
Oh, man.
All right. Let's get to it. What you got, Ruff?
All right. You've had a long day. Stressful day. Finally get to relax. Maybe you get in your car or something. What's the first song you want to hear?
Ooh.
That's a trick question because after a long day, I'm not putting on any music.
Okay.
Really?
No
music.
You're going to ride in silence.
Ride in silence.
Silent ride
Reflect.
home.
Decompress.
There you go. Sometimes I do it in the morning, honestly. Like, I used to play music in the mornings, but sometimes I'm like, nah, I don't want to listen to anything. I just want to just
Thank you.
be here with my thoughts right now.
Overstimulation.
Yeah, I definitely. I like to listen to music in the car, but I definitely do some silent rides sometimes.
Yeah. And then you'd be too tired to plug your phone up. So is that too.
That's me.
Yeah, for sure. It happens to everybody. It's crazy. All right, for me, listen, man, shout out to Tay Mamba, the name. I just found out that Taylor is a huge Kobe Bryant fan. Shout out to Bean, man. Rest easy, Kobe Bryant forever. But I want to know your favorite Kobe moment of all time. What's one be like, okay, yeah, that's my guy.
That's tough.
All right, it is. For sure. That's kind of, that's a loaded question.
That's
You know what? Let's back it up.
61. There's a retirement game.
That was crazy.
I got to see him play one time in person when they played the Pacers.
Okay. Did he kill?
He killed.
He always does.
That was my favorite intimate moment was seeing him play because I think that was his last time playing the Pacers at the Pacers.
Gotcha.
Right before he retired.
Gotcha.
Amazing Christmas gift.
Man.
I tried to meet him afterwards. I tried to sneak downstairs within the locker rooms. Didn't get to meet him, but it's
crazy,
cool.
Man. Yeah, shout out to my stepdad used to get us tickets to see Kobe play for Christmas, so I'll connect with you on that for sure. Well, while we here, man, why Kobe Bryant? Why Kobe Bryant? Of all the, I know you were a hooper growing up. Out of all the hoopers, why Kobe?
Mamba mentality. There's 24 hours in a day, and that always resonated with me because you can sit around all day, you can sit in the house, you can do nothing, or you can make use of every 24 hours in the day.
That's real.
So.
And he definitely did that. You can sleep some there too. For sure.
You can sleep.
Indeed. But it's better to work.
Better to work, yeah.
At all times. You got another one, Ruff?
No, I didn't. No.
All right, man. Listen, man. Round of applause for Taylor Hall again, man. That's the end of the pregame podcast pop quiz. You know what I'm saying? Keeping it light today. It's only Ruff and I. You know what I'm saying? Keeping the family
Where these other guys
for this
at?
interview. For sure. Yeah, where they at? What's going on?
They on PTO or something?
It's crazy. Indeed. All right, man. So first, I just want to talk about, when did you decide, okay, music is something that I want to do? How'd you connect it with Sam? Where you were like, okay, this is something I really want to pursue full time?
I knew I wanted to pursue it full time back in 2020, but music goes way back, within my life. I grew up with a studio in my house because my dad does music.
Wow.
So I have baby pictures with my hands on controllers and always could just hear and write music as a kid. Learned how to play the guitar when I was 13, started songwriting. But it was just for me, not for anyone else. So I was just always just working on my pen, songwriting every day. And then in college, wasn't doing any music. I had my guitar. I would play for some of my friends, but wasn't pursuing it.
That's dope, man. It's crazy. You should do that for real.
And I'm I'm in school to be a sports broadcaster. And then COVID hits. I'll speed this story up because it's a long but short story.
Yeah.
COVID hits, moved back home in April.
Okay.
Drejon Reed was killed on May 6th.
Yeah,
I remember.
I live not far from Michigan Road, started protesting on May 7th. And, like, in the midst of protesting, I was protesting every day, organizing.
Yeah.
My dad writes a song about standing for love, not hate. It's called I Can't Breathe.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up organizing protests all summer in Indianapolis that year. And then with an organization, I organized one of the largest protests with over 10,000 people.
Shout out to Black Women Incorporated.
Black Women in Charge.
Black Women in Charge.
You got
Incorporated. There you go.
It was one of the co-founders. It was 7 of us originally. And when there was 10,000 people, I performed that song. And then, like, after that day, like, my life changed. I had met Sam, like, a little bit before then, just pulling up. That was just, like, my best friend, homie. Like, he would always just pull up with the camera at different protests, and I performed. He was like, "You're, like, pretty good. Like, you should."
Wow.
You should. He's like, you should. He's like, you should.
Oh, you
should do it. So, and then after performing, like, that next week, I was on, I think, NPR on, like, Kyle's show, Cultural Manifesto. And then me and Sam went to Washington, D.C. at the March on Washington.
Wow.
Met MLK III, met all kinds of Al Sharpton, all kinds of representatives.
Skinny Al.
Cool with Andre Carson, everybody, and then started performing around the country, speaking around the country. And that just became my life.
Man, that's great. Man, round of applause again for that. That's crazy, Taylor, for real.
Out here doing the work.
Can you talk about, while we're here and we talk about fighting against police brutality and standing up for justice and standing up for equity and equality, just talk about the day-to-day grind of that. Because I feel like people think you can get on Twitter and say your piece. You can get on Facebook and make a statement. But, like, what does the actual work look like for you?
Man, it's so extensive. Like, people think it's just like you just show up to a protest, but it's like the protesting side, it's like you're getting permits, you're getting threatened, you're getting threatened by the police, you're getting tear gassed, you're taking 10, 20, 30,000 steps, not eating, not sleeping. You're accountable and responsible for everything that's going on in the city. Like, if something else happens, they're asking you, like, well, we're protesting, why is anything changing? That's the organizing side. Then you're working with, like, the mayor, the governor, the elected officials, and you're trying to lobby and legislate, and you're going through, like, all these documents on this needs to change.
It's a full-time job,
This needs to change. And that year we banned the chokehold in Indiana.
Congratulations, and thank you for that.
Shout out to Andre Carson. We got a larger budget for body cams in Indiana. But then
I was actually at that protest, too.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. We were down there, my family.
Yeah, Rep. Carson was always, like, huge supporter. Shout out Carson.
For sure, man. Shout out to Andre Carson.
Shout out Andre Carson.
We'd love to have you on the show, man. Maybe.
Really. But, yeah, working. It's, like, different work. You're working in the community. You're working with the government.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to work with yourself, too. Like,
that's real.
I know, the protests that you talked about, especially, like, Drejon Reed and stuff like that, is there a certain amount of pressure? Like when something bad happens, Superman's coming. You know what I mean? He's coming to save the city. Is there, like, if something goes down, is there pressure for you to
jump in there?
Put your wheels in motion and get going? Or, like, how do you decide?
There was. Back then, like, when I was still living in Indy, I felt like I had to, like, always be, like, whether people asked or not, I felt like it was expected. Like, whether it was someone being killed from police brutality or, like, when the people at FedEx were killed. I organized a vigil with one of my friends, Tashara, and, like, we were giving hugs to, like, victims' parents.
Wow. And
trying to speak. And it's like, I was, like, on stage crying, and I'm like, yo, like, I need to sit down because, like, this is hitting too close. Like, someone that was killed I went to school with, and I didn't know until I saw her family.
Wow.
So, like, it was just, like, always outside. Trauma, and it's, like, mental. So.
Right.
How do you approach that? It just being so young and wanting to create change. How do you balance the mental aspect of that? Because it is a lot of trauma, it is a lot of stress. How do you relieve that stress and just fight through those mental moments?
I would say my biggest release is music, and that's how I, like, transition into being more of an artist than a full-time activist. Like, I still do community organizing and advocacy work, but I feel like I can do better work within music and putting out positive messages that people can gravitate to and people can listen to at any hour or when they're going through anything to get out of their darkness, and like that helps me too. So
got you. Well, and I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna get a little interesting here, but we have an actual activist here that's putting the work. What is your take on or when you see narratives like surrounding Black Lives Matter and some of the work that they are and they aren't doing? And when you see that the Black Lives Matter organization has a crib out in L.A., you know what I mean? There's millions of dollars have been poured into it. What is your thought process on keeping activism genuine and honest as you try to make if you were going down that road to make a career out of it? How do you feel about that?
I would say like the biggest thing with the Black Lives Matter movement is that people didn't know how to separate the movement from the organization. So it's like back in the day, there's a civil rights movement, but then you have like Martin Luther King,
right?
You have Malcolm X,
right?
You have Angela Davis, and you're not saying the Martin Luther King movement and Martin Luther King. You're saying there's a civil rights movement as a whole, and like Martin Luther King has his own ideology. Malcolm X has his own ideology,
right, his own thought process.
Versus just like the Black Lives Matter movement was so broad, everyone's protesting saying Black Lives Matter, and you're like, oh, you're associated with the organization, and it's like, no, we're not associated. We're just saying the phrase, but then it's like everyone wants to give all the money to this organization because that's the same as a phrase. Whereas like instead of giving it to small local community organizations or grassroots people,
that's it.
So it's like people got confused.
They ran that shit up.
Confused with it.
Now they driving the Black Lives Matter Bugatti. Yeah. It's somewhere on the streets.
Yeah.
It's so weird, man. And I'm sure it's black. But nah, man, thank you for that. Thank you for that note. And I think that's a great point. And it's hopefully someone who is a donor, if you're listening or watching this, it's important that you follow along with the individuals that are doing the work in your city and what they're about and how can they take your funding and do more work and do more activism in your city. So thank you for that point, Taylor. I had to ask you that. That was on my mind all day.
Yeah.
All right, so number one, shout out to you. We were just talking about food off air, and Taylor was actually in the McDonald's Super Bowl commercial. I just watched it today, called Knowing Their Order. It was it was like love filled. I'm like, dang, do I know my wife's McDonald's order? Does she know mine? Does she know I like the filet of fish? You know what I'm saying? With a 6-piece nugget.
Fish crazy.
It's so crazy.
Don't disrespect it.
Honestly, I'll be honest. I'm gonna say it right now.
I'm not eating McDonald's ever again.
Okay,
Hey,
live your
good
life.
You would for the check.
They lime over there.
You would for the check.
But
Good for McDonald's, man. Oh.
Make it make sense, Mickey D's. First of all, I want to know. I'm not sure if you partake, but what is your McDonald's order?
I really like. People always think it's crazy, but I really like the breakfast, like the pancakes.
The breakfast is crazy.
The pancakes with the sausage. My mom, like, we would get the hotcakes and sausage after church. It would be fire.
Okay.
If I'm like going, I hardly ever eat McDonald's, period, or like at night. But if we do, I'll get like a 4-piece nugget with some fries, honey mustard.
Smack, for sure. I'm gonna go with the sweet and sour, Taylor, but
the sweet and
your sauce is your sauce.
First of all, if you got the app, it's always a free 6.
That means you be there. That means you be there too much.
No, when I go, I want a deal. I want a deal everywhere I go. I got an app. First of all, if you don't have an app for wherever you shop or eat, you're tripping.
You're not in 2023.
I don't go nowhere without checking my apps to see if there's a coupon or something. Right?
That's real. No. Listen, you know me. I'm going to pull up on Mickey D's.
Yeah.
And the filet fish is crazy.
What?
But shout out to the 4-piece with small, medium fry. What we doing?
I'm doing small.
Oh, you keeping it minimal. I feel you.
But you get the drink, the Sprite, don't you?
I usually get like a high C or the fruit punch.
Slaps.
High C's crazy.
The fruit punch.
For sure.
That Sprite's different.
Can you talk about your experience being on set for the Super Bowl commercial sponsored by McDonald's? What was that like?
It was surreal because I've worked on so many sets living in LA. I've lived in LA for almost a year and a half now. And you go from like doing background work, production work. I've done I've done styling on set. I've done all types of set work. So like being the talent for a commercial this large, like the way you're treated, how fast the process is of casting.
Dang,
like
what did they say to you? Like, oh, come right this way, Taylor.
Yeah, like literally, like come this way. Like, do you want something to eat? Like every kind of food you can think of. Like,
did they have the Mickey D's there?
No,
surprisingly,
they
had some lamb chops.
Oh, McDonald's.
They didn't.
Wow.
And
How you going to McDonald's not on set?
No.
That's crazy. But was there, in your experience on a big set like that, was there, you know, like people of color, like stylists, makeup,
Yeah,
hair? Was there people of color that, you know, people that look like you and stuff like that?
I was
A good
very
amount?
impressed. They had like a black woman makeup artist for me
Wow.
and for my boyfriend.
For sure.
Me and my boyfriend did our own styling. Like they always like make you go to wardrobe.
So okay, now I had a question about that. So that was really you and your guy.
Yeah.
Put the fit on.
That's
put
tight.
Put that
Yeah,
shit on.
let's
Because
go.
I was like, now I'm about to meet Taylor. She's in this commercial. I don't know if that's really her dude.
Yeah, so they were casting for real couples. And
Okay.
like the whole interview process, they were just asking us about one another, like what is our favorite orders, like what is our favorite memories, how
Dang,
do we
so what's
meet?
his order? What's his?
She forgot. And that's okay. You don't have to know that. That's not important.
Here's
in
the
bigger
thing.
picture.
It's not.
No, this is the thing. He gets something different every time whenever we go anywhere.
Gotcha.
So I told him I'm never gonna know what you want.
Yeah, 'cause you always mixing it up,
He
man.
might get a sandwich. He might get nuggets. He might get a fish
Might get that
fillet.
filet of fish, yeah.
He might get something
Fire.
random. Like he never gets the same thing.
Yeah, it's not.
But y'all don't be eating that.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
Eat that shit. Does it come with like, I don't know, you get like lifetime, you get like free McDonald's forever off that?
No.
And
Gotcha.
you give me
No,
some.
it's no.
Now,
I was happy it
was
ran
it a
though.
day long? How was the process? So like, how long were you there shooting and going through that? Was that kind of like taxing?
It was pretty fast. So like when they have
Wow.
big productions like that, they make it a lot faster than if you're doing like a full TV show. Because I was on set the same day Cardi and Offset were on set, so they got us done. And then
Yeah,
they got
not
to Cardi and
playing.
Offset. So like we got there probably at 10 o'clock, got dressed, did our makeup, did hair, and then they drove us to like this
Where they were going
reservoir
to shoot the shot.
with like an old school car. We shot for probably like less than an hour. Just asked us a bunch of questions and they only used like 15, 20 seconds of it. And they drove us back, got us some lunch, told us not to talk to Cardi and Offset, and then we were out of there.
Yeah, y'all leave them alone.
Versus being on set for like 12 hours. Like I've been on like 12, 13-hour set days.
Wow, that's crazy, man. Shout out to you. And it was actually tight, man, that somebody from the city was representing the Super Bowl commercial. I literally said like the Leonardo meme. Oh, right there. It was crazy. So shout out to you for that moment. Amazing.
Thank you. People were like,
Indeed.
I think I saw you, but like I don't know. They're
Nah, that was
like,
Taylor
that you?
Hall on there.
I was like,
Tay
That was
Mamba.
me.
Yeah, it was fire. You know, make sure you know your significant other's order. I guess that's what real love is all
Do you
about.
actively seek out opportunities like that, or do you just, you know, let management do them and let them find you?
I let them come. So it's like the biggest piece of advice is like when you stop putting so much, not energy as in like work, but like so much pressure on things, they just come to you. So it's like I was acting for a year. I almost got booked for like a basketball commercials, Google commercials,
Wow.
all types of things, like final round, just me and one other person on hold for the next day, didn't book it. Then I stopped acting, got a job, and at a nonprofit, was just living my unbothered life, music, nonprofit
Yeah.
work, and then an agent emails me and is like, hey, there's this casting for McDonald's couple commercial. Do you want to submit? If it doesn't fit, disregard. And I'm like, why not? And then
Gotcha.
they didn't tell us what it was for. They
Yeah.
didn't tell us
Said pull up.
anything. They just were like,
I need
then
that check.
we didn't know till like our fitting day that it was a Super Bowl commercial.
Wow.
And we didn't know till we were on set that it was like Cardi and
Y'all gonna be
Offset's
blasted
meal.
everywhere across the globe.
That's right.
No, that's crazy, man. Is there a pressure? You're an artist, but you also mentioned becoming an actress. Is there a pressure in a city like LA to be able to do it all and do it all well? Would you say? I got this belief, this theory at the crib of my wife, where it's like, hey man, I think that all actors and actresses can sing, they can dance, and they can act. And I feel like you gotta have at least 2 of the 3 to be great. So is there a pressure to kind of be well versed in all those different parts of being talented to kind of feel as though, okay, I'm heading the right direction?
I feel like it's more about exposure than anything. Like, and you have a larger reach if you can. So it's like, if I'm making music, then I'm on a TV show, then I'm getting a whole new
Got you.
fan
It's a
base from being on a
brand new
TV
fan base.
show. Or if I'm dancing, like one of my favorite artists right now is Jordan Ward. He's from like St. Louis but lives in LA, and he's like going crazy. And to come to find out, I was at like a party last week. He used to be a background dancer for Beyonce.
Wow.
So then all his homies are like, yeah, like that's the little homie Jordan. Like he was just a dancer like back in the day, and now he's an artist and blowing up. And it's like
Gotcha.
You have all these fan bases and all this reach from doing different things.
So you can't have all your eggs in one basket, essentially.
Plus, for financial reasons too, like if you're trying to pursue entertainment full time, it's like you need to make money acting, you need to make money dancing, you need money doing music. So it's like you got to do it somehow.
It's true.
Like
they all can do it. All right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
And if you can't, they're gonna get you vocal lessons or make it seem like you can't.
Man, it's crazy.
If they believe you, they're gonna make it.
They
work.
can all.
Yeah.
They can all cut a rug to a certain extent. They gonna cut one for you.
And put some stuff on your voice, you're good.
Yeah, they gonna make it. They gonna figure it out. That's crazy, man. And shout out to just understanding like there's always opportunity in whatever you're doing. So whether you're dancing, singing, acting, whatever it is may be, there's opportunity to grow and grow your following. That's crazy. So I was checking out the project, man. I'm gonna start with 2022 first. That's okay. I know you got some other interviews out there about some other projects, but I want to talk about because I have some questions, about Happy That Happened, and it's amazing, and I love the energy. I love all the songs, man. You just press play and let it go. I can't wait to play it for my family, for my little girls. I think it's beautiful. But I also feel like there's some life lessons in that project for you. It's a lot of relationship stuff, you know what I'm saying? Some things you had to kind of figure out. So I want to know how did making that project impact you? And and were you really kind of going through a little bit of some tumultuous times in the relationship that then produced this project?
Yeah, every song is like a true story. Like every song that I ever release will be a true story, like
Real. That's crazy.
bar for bar, like everything. Like,
and I was like, dang, he done messed up. Listen to this wrong song. He made a mistake.
And like I don't really plan to make projects per se. It's not like I've
Gotcha.
never been in like, oh, I'm in album mode, I'm just gonna start writing.
Right.
It's kind of just, oh, I'm just living life. And then like for Happy That It Happened, it was like 2021. I was just traveling, dating, and just making songs every time I'd come home. Like I go to Tennessee, come back, make a song. Go to New York, come back, make a song. Go all around the world, make a song. And then by the end, it was like a full story of like meeting, getting to know each other, falling in love, and then breaking up.
Got you. Yeah, for sure. Indeed. And thank you for sharing that too.
Yeah, it's always it's always better when it comes from like the heart and soul. I think any music is better that way. So I like that you say that, you're always going to keep it like anything I write is going to be something real that happened in my life. That's always going to hit for me personally.
Yeah, for sure. So make the music even stronger, even better.
Yeah. Thank you. I think fans can tell when it's not you writing or if it's not personal to you.
What's one lesson would you say that you learned from those experiences about relationships, whether they're with friends or a significant other, that you learned throughout your time of making those songs for Happy That It Happened?
I would say that's how I got the title, is that after like everything that I went through, it's like, don't be sad that it's over, don't mourn, don't have any regret, just be like happy that for every experience and every lesson learned. So like that's kind of like how I like tied it all in a bow, is like learn from every relationship, every friendship, everything you go through. And
that's tight because it can you say happy that it happened. It could also, the other side of that is like you're mad as hell, which could also produce a good product. Yeah. If you're like angry and you use that, to make your art, a lot of people use real emotion for that. But I think it's tight that you came to a place like, hey, I get it. This is what was gonna happen. It happened.
Yep, these my notes right here. On.
And so it's just it's like lighter and more refreshing than like the angry shit that you might see, which I don't mind either. Yeah, that's tight too. But it was a good listen for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's fire.
That was Can you describe relationship?
Yeah,
that was my last time making songs about relationships.
Okay, got you. Okay, all right. Can you describe? I feel like a lot of your music right now currently has these mantras in it. That's what I choose. Keep it moving. And, how are you applying those mantras to your life? It's amazing that, that's what I choose. I love listening to it because you talk about overcoming an obstacle. You talk about, making sure that you come out on the other end stronger. And I think for a lot of people in America, a lot of people in life that are going through anything, they can relate to these mantras that you're singing, that you're writing about. Where does that come from, Taylor? It's extremely intelligent. And I feel like it's one of those things that people can just naturally gravitate towards too. I know you got the viral moment on That's What I Choose, and I feel like because when you see that emotion in that TikTok video of you singing that song, and a lot of people are like, "Oh man, that's just so inspiring for me," and it's relaxing and calming to see somebody else feel what I feel when I'm trying to fight through school or something's going on in my family or the job is not the best and I'm trying to get here. So you can just talk about that.
No, I would say that's just another example about why you should write about your life and what you're going through. So I'm not the best at expressing my emotions like in a conversation or verbally. So I just put it all in my music. Like for That's What I Choose, I wrote that song probably in like 10, 15 minutes because it just flowed out. Like I was going through a lot at the beginning of the year, like between like my relationship, my health, my family's health. I came home this weekend for my mom because she just had surgery, and like I wrote the song a day after I found out my mom had cancer. And it's like I'm in the studio crying because I'm like I'm finding the good and the bad moments even when it seems impossible.
Cancer sucks.
It does.
It sucks, man.
So it's like you write about your life and you choose how to see like these negative moments and make it into something positive. So it's like she's listening to it as she goes through her battles and as she recovers, and my stepdad and my siblings, and it's like personal for me, but it's like me and my boyfriend had a conversation when I found out, and he's just like, how are you feeling? And I'm like, he's like, what are you gonna do? And it's like I can't control it. It's like it's all about how I choose to see it. It's like I could be sad that I'm 2,000 miles away from my family, or I could say I moved to LA to follow my dreams, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go even harder.
Yeah, that's what I choose.
For my family, because if I wanted to be at the crib, I could be at the crib living comfortable right now, not paying $1,600, $1,700 in rent, having free meals. But it's like I'm 2,000 miles away from home, don't have no family in LA, living my dreams. And because I couldn't be here, it's like I'm going to go hard.
No,
so,
that's real,
As
man.
you should, I think.
That's fire. And that record is beautiful, too. If you have not heard it, listen to it, download it right now. You know what I'm saying? Add it to your Apple Music, man. It'll get you through, for sure. I want to talk about your style a little bit and how you would describe it. So for me, and I'm ignorant, so you be like, man, hey, Lord willing, shut up. That's not what I mean, or that's not what I'm trying to do. But I hear a lot of like, I feel like I want to call it alternative soul or R&B. I get a lot of those vibe, like the nostalgia of like the early 2000s. With some Avril Lavigne in there a little bit, maybe some Corinne Bailey Rae a little bit as well.
That's my girl.
Okay, just I'm good because I'm like I don't know how you're gonna take it, but how would you describe your style? This type of genre of music?
It's like a very indie soul kind of feel. Like sometimes it's alternative, sometimes it's very singer songwriter, of course, because I play a lot of guitar. But like I grew up, shout out to my parents, listening to Lauryn Hill, Corinne Bailey Rae, Amy Winehouse, Tracy Chapman, Joni Mitchell, and those are all songwriters who play the guitar and just write straight stories about life. And like some is like folk, some is like funk, some is like R&B soul, but it's like a mesh of all those together. Got you.
Thank you for that.
And I think it's tight. I think it's important that I know a lot of the music sometimes a lot of people can find it redundant, no matter what the genre is. The R&B, the soul, the rap. People are mad at samples right now. I've noticed, but they hate fucking samples right now. But I think that it's just a different sound that if you go some places, the average black person will be like, oh, I don't fuck with that, but it's so good, like because you're talented, and I think that there's a lot of space in that lane for someone like you to do that and be really good at it and have the masses fuck with you. So, because it's a different sound than what has been forced down our throats for however so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's like goods and bads because it's like there's no real blueprint or person that you can compare me to. So it's like if I go to a label, it's like, who are you like? It's like I might take pieces from different people, but it's not like, oh, well, you rap, so you're like Jid or Smino, or oh, well, you are R&B, so you're like her, or Tiana Taylor, or like this lane. It's like people think because I'm black, they're like, oh, you're a rapper? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, oh, are you straight?
I might rap,
Like,
though.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, nah. And I'm like, oh, do you do like just R&B? I'm like, no.
Nah,
I'm like,
it's different than
I
that.
do different pockets. Like, just
What do
listen
you-
to it.
What do you do?
What do you do?
I'm
So it's like wide open, but then it's like hard to explain sometimes to people because they're like, well, I don't know where I can't put you in a
I
box.
can't.
And I don't
box
like
you
that.
in. Oh, that's interesting. Can you speak to? And Sam is here too, but can you speak to just trying to break in the industry currently? You know, you can speak to the work ethic. You can speak to the relationship building. What is that like for you on a daily basis as you continue to gain ground and do your thing on a different level? But as you continue to climb, what is that climb like on a daily basis, especially in LA?
I always have this conversation with like artist friends from like the top of the food chain to like just starting to just like in this middle area. And it's like the hardest part right now with the industry, and that's always been with the industry, is like there's no blueprint. There's no like linear steps you can take to make it. It's not like if you do this and do this, like let's say like a lawyer. Like if you go to school and you get this degree, you'll be a lawyer.
Yeah.
It's not like that to be an artist. It's like
It's crazy.
It's like
it's
you
a
gotta-
multitude of things.
you gotta make good music, but like that's like almost the smallest part because there's amazing artists everywhere. You gotta be personable, you gotta be likable, you gotta have style, you gotta have like a cool or kind of interesting look, you gotta have relationships, you have to have people that support you, a team, you
Sound
gotta
like a full-time job, Taylor.
you gotta make
That's what it sound
content.
like.
You gotta
Yeah.
tap into different markets. So it's like it's no like
It's
just
just no
steps.
end.
There's no, but then it's like even with like ends, it's like I moved to LA a year and a half ago, and it's like people think I've been living in LA for like 3, 4, 5 years because of how many people I know and how much I've done in such a short time. Like whether it's like acting, music, placements, but it's just relationships. It's like I moved to LA in October. And I was at a writing camp in November and met
Wow.
so many like producers, DJs, artists that like, and COVID was just ending at that time. So it's like all these people are just
Trying
now
to
back
take that mask
outside.
off.
Like
Yeah, coughing again in public.
it was time. And it's like go time.
It was crazy. For sure. I'm glad we are out of the pandemic for now, for the foreseeable future.
It's no
I'm
longer
Glad
a
you
global
can
health
sneeze
threat.
again. Everybody says bless you. They don't say, oh my God, let me get to the room. And
You could definitely.
Lock
It's
you up
probably a
for
little
10
more
days.
easy to cough or sneeze in public. these
yeah,
days.
man.
It
has been
depends.
for sure.
For about a year and a half, though, it was like
yeah, it was like, you
you're
got it.
coughing,
Get
man.
away from me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can we talk about the writing camps? I want to know, like, what is that like? I got this vision, like, okay, like they play a record and everybody's sitting there like looking at each other like, what's you writing? Like, is it quiet?
No, it's like a playground for artists, to be honest. It's like my first writing camp, it was at Super Dope Studio in LA. It's called Hard Pink. And
Shout out to Harping.
Shout out to Hard Pink. They have like a label, marketing, a bunch of different stuff. And there was like 3 or 4 different rooms, and every room had a different vibe. And you have producers, guitarists, writers, singers. So then you just kind of bounce into different rooms to try to figure out like what your vibe is. Like they might be working on something slow, something fast in this room. So I was like in different rooms, and I'm like, this isn't really my vibe. I'm like, I don't know. Or like trying to hop on the track. It's like, they're like, it's savage. You're in LA. It's like everyone's trying to hop on this track, and it's not about to be 5 people on one song. So I got in one. You meet everybody. Some people were locking the doors.
What? I'm being rude.
I don't think y'all
They're
are
locking the
supposed to lock the
doors.
doors.
Yeah.
They're like,
You
nah.
knocking on the door, let me in.
They're like, nah, fam, we're good in here.
Oh,
Cause then
my
but
gosh.
then it's like if you're in the room, people are like, well, everyone in the room gets a split if it gets placed. So it's like I might make a song at a writing camp, and I recorded it. It's my voice. Me and 2 other people wrote it. 1 person or 2 people produced it. But then there's 10 people in the room, and then everybody gets a split and everyone owns it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like
I feel them on lockdown.
Oh,
So then it's like-
so you can be back in the group project, not doing nothing for the group
doing
project.
nothing, and then it's like now you're a writer on my
Now
song.
you done turned in and got an A.
Now
That's
you're-
crazy.
Now you're a writer on my song. So.
Wow,
But I ended up meeting so many like
Back there
fire
texting.
producers, fire writers.
that's
tight.
crazy. That's tight. Thank you for that insight.
You have to
man.
have something to show, like, hey, this is what I have, guys, at the end of the writing camp, or you can leave without really having nothing done. Or
No, so it's like more just like finishing songs. So it's not like actual like writing, like you're putting it like on a document, like you're co-writing, but it's like this is the song and these are all the songs you finished at the camp. So like for TV placements, it's like we want something about love and about an obstacle, or we want something about finding your way, or we want something about this.
I'm thinking about like the reality TV shows like Love Is Blind.
That's what we do it for.
And I'm like, where is this music coming from?
So we make songs just for TV shows. Like we'll get sync placements like, hey, Issa Rae's making a new show. We want these kind of songs, or this is a scene. Make a song about it, and then you make it, and it might get placed or not.
I know y'all wonder where them songs come from before. I'm always like, where they get this song from?
Or
and I know that's crazy. Shout out to the writing camps doing their hard work to make Love Is Blind.
Yeah,
for sure. Thank you for
scores.
That. Indeed.
So much like hidden stuff in LA that it's just like, what?
Yeah, that's
like,
nuts. I appreciate that because I'm like, where they get this song from to go perfectly with this particular moment.
I would just be in there like, just looking around.
So you answered a few of these questions though, but I do want to go back. And I really want to talk about, you bringing 10,000 people together to fight against police brutality in a time where we needed a voice, we were trying to make change. What was that moment like for you, Taylor, and you and your team for Black Women in Charge?
I couldn't even tell you how I was like mentally. I was working. Like,
okay.
I was
in the
working.
trenches.
I was on stage. I didn't even want to be on stage because there was so much work to do. I was passing out water. I was making sure we had like threats from the KKK because we're in Indiana. So I'm like walking around looking for Trumpers with their guns. Like I saw like some far right people come up, and I'm like walking around making sure we have clearance, making sure like everything's going well, making sure we're on schedule, making sure this congressman's ready to go on stage. Like I'm just like everywhere all at once, like coordinating. I was ready for.
Yeah, you were working.
I was just working.
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
Like, I didn't even process it till like I didn't even know how many people were there. I didn't even process it till like after, because I'm just like I was there from like I was the first person there. I was there from like 7 a.m. till like 7, 8, 9 p.m.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's tight, man. That's phenomenal. And since we're here, we're talking to a community leader. What does justice, equity, equality, if you will, look like for you in the city of Indianapolis? When do you feel like, okay, the work is never done, but I feel like we're at a good place? What does that look like for you?
I just want to see more community organizing and community just like funding and just programming. So like I always have this debate with like my family, like how can we make the education system better, or how can we make the Black experience better? And it's like, yeah, we put in laws and we definitely need people to lobby those laws, but it's like we need to work on the human experience for like the everyday person. Like where are our kids going after school? Like where are we? Like, what are we supposed to eat?
Streets.
Where are we getting food? Like, we're closing down grocery stores. We're closing down.
There's a lot of food deserts out here, man.
Shopping places. So it's
now
just
you
like
stuck with that flat
the
fish.
basics.
It's gonna slap though.
Yeah, they are. No,
mentorship.
They always got
like,
McDonald's money.
They always got McDonald's every time. That's crazy though, man. That's crazy. That's important to note for sure.
How do you feel that? And I think that right now we don't. There are times where you have like your Huey P. Newtons, your Malcolm X's, your Martin Luther King. Do you think that we need like a leader? Is that something that we should be striving towards?
Yeah.
As opposed, and I'm not talking about, because I don't believe in the fact, like I don't think Kanye West can speak for me about how I feel about equity and all that shit. I love Kanye, but he's not fit to talk about those things for me. So do you think that we need someone like that, or are we kind of trending in the right direction without it?
We're trending terribly without it.
Okay.
We need multiple people like that just actually study and know what they're talking about when they're going on these platforms. So it's like everybody's gonna listen to Kanye because Kanye has like 100 million followers, but it's like there might be like a girl at whatever college that's already studied like the criminal justice system or how to actually make change, but no one wants to listen because she doesn't have this big platform.
Yeah. And she got some "that's you" tweets too. Everybody does. It's you.
Yeah, for sure.
It's tough. They gonna
pull
your receipts.
Hey, you listen right now. Clean your Twitter.
Clean your Twitter.
Clean your Twitter.
Clean your Twitter.
I mean, I think we have
Clean it,
all
they
these.
gonna find
we have
it.
all these people who get all these spotlights. You know, your DeRays, your Sean Kings, and then sometimes they turn. Not speaking ill about any of these people. Sometimes they turn out to be not what maybe we thought, or they just have all these other issues that make you look at them like. But then you have like people like Martin Luther King who had issues, but he was so good at what he did, nobody cares.
For sure.
Just the majority of the time, though. It's like you get to a certain level, and then things just come more and more corrupt. But that's also like something I used to debate. Is like you shouldn't put activists on a pedestal. Like I was always like, don't look up to me. Like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You should be doing this too. Like,
Right. Yeah.
We can all just be organizing
For sure.
within our own communities.
Yeah.
And doing our own thing.
Doing our own
trying
thing.
to fight.
Like in LA, me and my friends, we started this like collective called Not Too Cool to Care, and like we just organized free events.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it's like all about the Black experience. Like we did the Waviest charity, and we partnered with like Doc Martin, streetwear brand
Tight.
called Bodega, a bunch of
That's
what
crazy.
cuts for women's, and we gave all the clothes to homeless teens inside of the shelters, like in Compton and downtown
that's
LA.
amazing, man.
And like our friends donated like their fire clothes, like all types of designer that they weren't wearing anymore because it's LA.
So you're still continue to do your thing even across the country and continue to keep that at the forefront of what you do, which also, you know, is a great segue to talk about artivists. Hope I'm saying it correctly.
Yeah, artivism.
Yeah. And where does that come from, man? That's the first time really reading about it and understanding that concept. But why is it important for you to, you know, create change through art? Yeah, what's that about, Taylor?
I would say it's like the easiest medium for people to receive. So
Okay.
it's like I had calls with all types of people about like the song I released, I Can't Breathe, or even like my song now, What I Choose,
Yeah.
where it's like if I just talk to you, like make a difference, go change the world, it's like, oh my gosh, you're just nagging. But if I put in a song and like make it pretty and put a bow on it, then it's like, okay, I can just listen to it
Got you.
and forget it's on, or I can like keep it on and like actually like receive it, like wow, like maybe I should make a difference, or maybe I should choose good and not bad. So it's just pushing it to like the masses, pushing it to kids. It's easy to understand.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. So fighting the fight, you know, fighting inequality, fighting injustice through song. Okay. Understood that. And is that something you see turn into a collective? So it's like, okay, as I'm doing, you know, artivism and artivist and what it means to me is like I want to bring more artists on that are also participating and getting their voice out there and creating change through their music.
I would say it wouldn't necessarily be like my collective. It's
Okay.
more of just like a movement. And there's
Okay.
other people that do artivism all the time. Like
Yeah.
lots of amazing artists here that did the murals downtown during the protests. Like there's so many amazing like canvas artists, music artists, people that do spoken word and poetry. And it's just like using the gifts that you already have to make a difference. So it's like I'm gonna do it in my music, whether it's about advocacy or mental health.
Got you.
Do it in your artwork, do it in your paintings.
Essentially being intentional with your art.
That's what it's all about.
I like it. What does the pinnacle of success look like for you? When you like, all right, man, I'm at the top. I know you mentioned coming back and being the mayor of Indianapolis. We count on that.
Yeah, we're not gonna forget about that.
Nah, we not. Pull up. Well, if I see you in the Bugatti and you in the, I'm like, what's up, Ted? Now, see, now you got it now. So I'm ready.
That
for you to
wouldn't
go
be
ahead and
that
run
wouldn't
for
be the
mayor.
people's money though.
I know, but I'm just saying though.
It's always
'Cause
better when it's not the
coming.
people's
Oh,
money.
there go Taylor. She's like, who's that? I'm like, man, it's me. Remember we did the pregame like 10 years ago. So when that happens, man.
I'm envisioning it.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
just like-
gonna happen. You're gonna roll up in the expo, the summer celebration. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Grammy nominated, going crazy. They're gonna have you play in the Celebrity All-Star game. Amp Harris gonna be like 80.
Yo,
I'm dead.
I hope he does not have that. No offense, Am. I hope you don't have that job
Oh
in
my
10
gosh.
years.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right,
Yeah.
Taylor, now it's time. So
The
what
An-
is that?
The Anthony Richardson celebrity basketball game.
Oh, please. Woo, fire.
Yeah, crazy.
Come on. But what does that look like for you, man? The pinnacle of success.
Yeah, I've always just wanted like, it sounds crazy, like a simple life, like Tyler the Creator's song Heaven to Me. It's like the basic things, like my family being good,
Oh, yeah.
people
the
not
finish,
having not having to worry. But then within my music and like career, it's just impact. So it's
Okay.
like you reach one goal and then you go to the next goal. It's like I've organized, I've reached lots of people, but there's so many people in this world. So for me, like it's not like, oh, I want everyone to just listen to my music so I can get streams. It's like I really want people to listen to my music to help them and to impact them. So it's like something positive, you know? Like no one's making positive music. Like parents always thank me because it's like, who are their kids gonna look up to?
What's
you
that
know?
song? I'm riding around with my rounds.
Like Lauryn Hill, like Lauryn Hill, like who the kids gonna listen to? Like
Yeah.
Like
I guess
Kanye.
me if it isn't you.
Yeah, it's like
For
no,
sure.
like there's no artist like putting out like positive intentional messages that are still in the
They
community.
not, Taylor. These songs on TikTok, they not good for
Like,
you, bro.
like-
they're just not. But I'm glad that you are using artivism, you know, to make sure that you're making a change with your music and being intentional, being impactful. That's amazing.
reaching people. I want to write a book. I want to go on
Please.
tour as a book tour and a music tour, you
Oh,
know,
that
and
shit.
then just reach people all around the world just with music, not even for like financial gain or for clout. Just like don't look up to me. Just do better.
No.
That's how I feel. Like just
That's real.
be
Figure
happy.
it out for yourself.
Just be happy.
And make change. What projects can we expect from you to as we get into the summertime of 2023? What is this year looking like for you and Top View? What we got going on?
It's a really busy year. I've shifted away from like my normal long music rollout process. You know, people have like this long strategy of like I'm gonna wait 10 weeks or a month or 3 months to drop. It's like if the people want the music, they want the music. So I'm dropping music almost every month. I'm dropping 2 music videos this month. I'm dropping a song. Next month, I'm dropping a song
we working.
almost every month, and then I'm dropping a project October, November. That's
Whoa.
already done.
Let's go, man.
She
I'm
said
geek.
this-
Let's
she
go.
said
It's
the
already
album-
done, too.
album done.
Very impactful, very intentional. It's about my life story in LA, just like finding my way.
Oh, it's
Wow.
going to
Very
be fire.
introspective.
I'm ready now. It's going to be crazy. We got a name?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm waiting for it to come to me.
All right. I want to pregame.
It's gonna click just one day? Is that how it works for you?
I have like placeholders, and I'm like, it's gonna click.
Got you.
That's dope.
It's going to be fire.
Might be like finding light. I'm debating.
Okay. All right. Make sure you stay in tune with Taylor Hall, Tay Mamba, everywhere Mamba Tay in some places, man. So you can make sure you stay on top of all the music coming out for sure. Shout out to the Black Mamba.
Shout out Kobe.
Indeed. Last question. I'm done. I swear we're done. We gotta get home to the crib.
I was gonna ask you another one.
No, this is the last one. I think this is a really good one. So, and I'm gonna read it verbatim. You're pursuing these dreams on the West Coast. You know, how do you balance your work here as an activist and making music, and continue to break into the industry in LA? Because I think it's important for people to hear, like, you know, how you do all of this. Some people see people, they're like, man, how did you do all this every single day? Like, what is going on? What would you say the key is for those people that are listening right now that are watching this?
For one, like it's not me. It's above me. It comes from above.
Okay.
I'm spiritual religious.
Shout out to God.
Like, get my strength from God. He makes it possible for me to make everything make sense. Shout out to my family. They've always been super there for me, super supportive. I can come home and just like pass out. And then my team, like shout out Top View, shout out Sam, since day one. Like always holding it down, taking off some weight for a lot of just like music things where I can just create. Like that's the biggest problem with a lot of artists is like trying to market, trying to make
Trying to figure it
everything
all out, trying to
everything
get
on
your
your
style, your
everything
biz
on your
right.
own. Everything on
sure
your
it's
own. It's
daunting,
hard.
man.
So it's like having a team, having a support system is like the biggest blessing for real.
That's real, man. And round of applause for Taylor Hall in the studio, man. This is amazing, man. Indianapolis legend, man. She gonna be riding through the city in something crazy. I already know.
You should have seen me the other day.
I already know.
Oh, she said you should have seen what I was rolling in.
Oh, was you already in something crazy? What's up?
Can't even.
She can't talk about it.
She can't even tell
even
us what
say.
it was. Spaceship.
Oh, man, we gotta wait till the camera's cut.
Get out of here, man.
Man,
We're the tester we've never seen before.
man, crazy.
Man, let's move on, man. Shout out to Taylor Hall, man.
Thank
she
you,
laughed a couple
guys.
times. It's
Shout
crazy.
out PreGame podcast.
For sure. Shout out to PreGame. And shout out to the Colors Boys. If you know, you know.
Oh, God.
Indeed.
Yeah, we did a good job.
We did a good job, man. We did. Sam, how we do?
10 out of 10.
Man, Sam said it was legit. Taylor, how you feel? Was it solid?
You guys are great.
Man, okay.
I've done a couple podcasts and you guys,
It was solid?
it was really solid.
Okay.
I like intentional questions because it's like
Thank
anybody
you.
can ask about like
Well,
why do
Sam
you
challenged me. He
why
coached
do
me a little bit.
why do you like music?
Yeah.
I'm like Okay.
That's
You know?
a
How much do you pay for
first grade
studio time?
kindergarten, huh? Kindergarten
No,
journalist?
literally, it's just like
Yeah.
versus
That's real
like things
bad.
that people who follow me would actually want to know about.
I
Like
feel it. When we pull up in LA, we gotta pull up on you, Taylor.
facts.
For sure.
I'll show you guys some.
All right, let's get out of here, Taylor. Man, round of applause again, man. That was fun.
Thanks. It
For
was,
sure. We
it was
appreciate
good.
y'all, man.
I
Ruff
can't-
and Lloyd Woolen holding it down, man. It's crazy. Never seen that before. Nuts. Next.
Next.